Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week, for the week of December 19th to the 25th. I want to wish all of you out there happy holidays, regardless if you celebrate Christmas, which if that's the case, Merry Christmas, or to those who don't, like me, who are Jewish, who celebrate Hanukkah. And while Hanukkah certainly has passed for me, though, I was able to get myself a late Hanukkah / early Christmas gift, and it was one that I have been waiting to try to get a whole year, and I think this just sums it up itself. That's right. I managed, if the camera could do well, but yeah, I managed to be able to secure myself a PS5. It took me a while to find one of those, and believe me, I'm sure there were those who were managed to struggle, but I was able to get one along with a bundle that basically came with the controller, a charger, and 3 games: Ratchet & Clank, Ratchet & Clank, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. So was very lucky to find a PS5, though. It wasn't easy, though, and I'm sure for a lot of people it still isn't easy, to be exact, though. I'm hoping to get it hooked up soon, but I might hold off just a little bit on it, though, mostly because I will be eventually moving into another place, particularly a condo and all, so I'm hoping soon, though, to be exact. But after a year wait, I finally was able to secure a PS5, and it wasn't easy. And I know for those out there that are still having a hard time, I would say don't give up. Keep trying, though. Yes, it may take a little bit longer, but I'm sure you'll be able to find a PS5 out there, or an Xbox Series X, depending on which one you're trying to get, though. So, yes, believe me, I understand how frustrating it is to find one, though. I understand how it is to deal with, ranging from the chip shortage to the bots and scalper out there. But I would tell you guys out there, don't give up. I'm sure you will be able to get your hands on either an Xbox Series X or PS5, or both if you're lucky, to be exact. Anyway, we got 3 stories to cover. Normally 4, but since news has been kind of a bit slow to a certain degree, I decided to cover 3. And the 3 would be basically, we get some reports about the possibility of what direction Mass Effect 4 might go, though. Reports of resignation from Ubisoft. And, of course, we have something involving Metroid Dread in terms of winning basically best game of 2021, courtesy of Time Magazine, though. And if you're interested in where I got the source of my information for all this stuff, though, I'll have links down in the descriptions down below, assuming you're watching this on YouTube, though. Well, before we get started, we'll first start off with the quick My 2 Cents stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail. So the first one is that the creator of the Cruisin' series would like to see basically the N64 trilogy come to, as part of Switch's online expansion pass. That's like Cruisin' USA, Cruisin' World, Cruisin' Exotic, though. Would love to see that happen. I certainly wouldn't be against it, although the latest Cruisin' game, supposedly there's works to try to get basically online on it, though, since online doesn't exist on that game as of right now. So hopefully that will change over time, though. But either way, it would be interesting to see the N64 Cruisin' games make their way onto the N64, the Switch's expansion pass, though. We also learned that a trademark has surfaced online for Klonoa, Klonoa. It's basically a platforming game from Bandai Namco. It usually has been spotted on the basically around, I think, the PlayStation era, but the game has also made an appearance on other systems like the Wii and even the Game Boy Advance, though. So it's really interesting to see excuse me, this game basically possibility of seeing it happen again, though. So hopefully we'll find out soon enough. Maybe we'll hear an announcement sometime next year, but either way, another trademark has basically surfaced. We also learned that Yuji Naka is working on a new game, basically on Unity, and it's basically designed for mobile games. It's basically a dice game and all. It's really sad to see what happened to him, especially the fallout emerged from Balan Wonderworld and all, but it's nice to see that he is working again, though. Obviously, he's doing other stuff. A little disappointing to see him doing a mobile game, but obviously where things are right now, it is what it is. So we'll see how well this mobile game does or anything like that. Yet at the same time, it seems as though that we've also learned that not everybody was a fan of Yuji Naka, especially during his time at Sega. There was a recent report from a Sega producer that they were working on a Star Fox-like game there, and I do remember seeing bits of it though during the Dreamcast, but basically Yuji Naka basically worked to basically kill off that project, and it's a little really a little bit unfortunate to hear that game basically get killed off and all. And obviously there have been some reports about not everyone was a fan of Yuji Naka when he was working at Sega back then though, so excuse me. So but it's always fascinating to hear about these games that never really see the light of day or anything like that though. We also learned that apparently a lot of people are basically, those who are playing Halo Infinite are liking some of the stuff, the grunts, those small little creatures you run into during Halo Infinite, making some interesting comments. Some of them are like really like interesting discs, ranging from comments about the events in Halo Reach to Cortana to be exact, and I've ran into several of them making some interesting comments though, and some of them can be a bit cruel, and some of them can be also, I mean, or shall I say, a diss and all, but some of them are actually kind of funny. So, excuse me, very clever for 343 Industry to add that in, to be exact. We also learned that supposedly there are plans to add 60 frames per second support for the Assassin's Creed Origins, though, which we'll have to wait and see if that happens. But if it does, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. I mean, we've already got, Assassin's Creed Odyssey already got 60 FPS and support on that. Why not for Origins? I certainly don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. We also learned that Crysis for Remastered, at least the Switch version, has received a update and a patch, though, which excuse me, is certainly it's nice. Update on the audio and dialogue, though. So that certainly is great to see the game's getting a little bit more of an update, though. And in the movie side of things, or streaming side of the part, we learned that the movie Spider-Man No Way Home, which is doing very well at the box office, I'm hoping to see it, hopefully see it on Christmas Day and all, even though this video will go up on Christmas Day to be exact. Though I'm hoping to see that movie, though. But apparently it does not seem that there are any plans at this time to put it on Disney Plus or HBO Max, though. So, excuse me, though, a little bit of coughing to be exact. So, somewhat disappointed for those who are hoping to watch it on Disney Plus or HBO Max. We also learned that Dan Aykroyd has talked about the possibility of other cast members returning for a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, which part of me certainly would like to see that happen. Maybe actually see the surviving cast members maybe train a new generation of Ghostbusters. I certainly would be down with that, but I'm not sure if everyone would be back on board. I mean, Bill Murray never was really, would he or would he not do Ghostbusters 3, though? Eventually he did Ghostbusters Afterlife, to be exact, but I'm not sure he would be back for another round or not. I mean, I could see Ernie Hudson's Wilson character teaching the new generation, though. I mean, it's kind of similar to what Extreme Ghostbusters, the cartoon, was back in 1997, where Egon was training a new generation of Ghostbusters, though. So I could see something like that happening, though. I'm not sure if all the original cast will return or not, but I could definitely see something like that happening if it's done right. I hope another Ghostbusters movie does happen. I did enjoy Ghostbusters Afterlife, so hopefully that does happen. And last but not least, we saw the first trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, though. Obviously, we know the multiverse is being introduced in Spider-Man No Way Home, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they expand upon that. Excuse me, I'm coughing a little bit. Expand upon that in the Multiverse of Madness, though. And who knows, maybe this can open the door to maybe something like, say, Spider-Gwen making an appearance in maybe a future Spider-Man movie, though. That might happen, so we'll have to wait and see, but judging by the tone, it's definitely different than from the first Doctor Strange movie. So, but nevertheless, I'm still looking forward to seeing it, though. Okay, with the quick my 2 cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with Metroid Dread. Now, obviously, Metroid Dread certainly has got a lot of attention for a lot of folks for many reasons. Though there are a lot of people that definitely enjoy the game, outside of the God of War creator, who was heavily criticized by some of his comments about certain mechanics in Metroid Dread. Though, but in either case, the game did very well. It certainly did get a lot of praises though, and while it didn't win Game of the Year, that went to It Takes Two, which by all means is not a bad thing. Great that an indie developer won Game of the Year at the Game Awards though. It did bring home award for Best Action Event, I think Adventure Game. I think it's one of those categories though. But either way, it's glad that the game is doing well and the series getting some good recognitions though. Well, now it seems as though that the game has now earned the #1 spot in Time Magazine's Game of the Year though, at least in the Time Magazine category though. In an article, if I can get it out, excuse me, posted on Nintendo Life, it reads that, quote, Samus's latest outing, Metroid Dread, has received a lot of praises since it's arrived on the Nintendo Switch in October, and now it's been crowned #1 in Time Magazine's top 10 best games of 2021. The new chapter in the Metroid series managed to place ahead of heavy hitters such as Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, and even the Game Awards winners It Takes Two. Here's what exactly what Time had to say about Mercury Systems' most recent Metroid release. Quote, when most people think of Nintendo, they conjure up the image of kid-friendly characters like Mario and Pikachu. But Samus Aran's badass intergalactic bounty hunter of Metroid fame has long earned her place on the Mount Rushmore of company characters, and after more than a decade without a proper Metroid game, Samus returned in a big way with this year's Metroid Dread, a 2D side-scroller for the Nintendo Switch that sees our hero stalked by artificial intelligent killer robots on the mystery planet ZDR. Excuse me, I'm coughing a little too much. Dread, which a longtime Metroid producer has been cooking up on and off for nearly 2 decades, is often a legit scary, though not quite on the level as something like Alien Isolation, and a delightful return form from a classic and beloved franchise. And just in case you're wondering on what the top 10, at least on Time Magazine's though, Metroid Dread is at #1. In INSCRYPTION, apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly, is #2. Forza Horizon 5 at #3. CHICORY, Chicory, if I'm saying the name correctly, A Colorful Tale at #4. Hitman 3 at #5. Returnal at #6. Halo Infinite at #7. Deathloop at #8. Stable at #9. And It Takes Two at #10. So, while it may not have gotten #1 at the Game Awards though, it's certainly nice that it got a #1 spot, even if it's maybe seemed like an odd place to get the #1 spot. But either way, it's nice to see that Metroid Dread is getting the attention it definitely deserves. And I can say the same thing with Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite though. It's really nice that those games as well are getting the attention that they deserve though, after years of sort of like excuse me, being not getting the huge attention compared to what something like say Call of Duty got. But in either way though, I'm very happy to see that Metroid Dread is getting the attention it absolutely deserves. So overall, congrats to Nintendo for basically winning the #1 spot on Time Magazine's Best Game of 2021. And also congrats to Microsoft with basically Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5 making it onto that list though. So I would say both Microsoft and Nintendo certainly had a very good 2021, and maybe I think Sony to some extent in 2021 as well. It'll be interesting to see how 2022 plays out though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one has to do with Ubisoft, and apparently a lot of people may be leaving the company, so we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our My 2 Cent video. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the situation surrounding Ubisoft. Now, Ubisoft, like Activision Blizzard, has found itself in recent controversy before. Controversies, shall we say, to be exact. Some of it has ranged from basically the whole idea with the whole sexual harassment and that kind of situation to the recent backlash they have garnished with the whole NFT kind of situation, which we saw that with the developers of Stalker 2, which later, following the backlash, decided to pull the NFTs out of upcoming release of Stalker 2 and all that stuff. Well, recently we are now learning that basically there are people who are basically leaving Activision Blizzard. Some of them for the reason of that. Some of it is that they're not happy with the company at all, though. In an article published on Eurogamer, though, it reads that, quote, staff are leaving Ubisoft in what's been dubbed the greatest exodus. As reported by Axiom, there has been a wave of resignations from the company over the past 18 months at all levels of businesses. A range of reasons have been cited for departure, including low pay, competitive opportunity elsewhere, frustration at the company's creative direction, and unseen at its handling of workplace misconduct, though. One experienced developer who left the company claims the company is an easy target for recruiters owing to these issues. Resignation included 5 of the top 25 developers credited for Far Cry 6, the company's biggest game in 2021. 20 of the top 50 who worked on Assassin's Creed Valhalla have also left. A number of ex-employees spoke with Axiom about their reason for leaving. One former employee was disappointed with the direction of the company's head office in Paris. There's something about management, creative scrapping by with the bare minimum that really turns me away, they said. One programmer who was able to triple their pay by leaving. Ubisoft had recently offered pay raise to all of its Canadian studios, though workers in other studios are frustrated in response. The Canadian studio has been particularly hard hit by departure, with at least 60 workers leaving in the last 6 months, according to Lincoln. The Montreal area is currently experiencing growth opportunity in the gaming industry. Ubisoft has been hit with criticism following its handling of workplace misconduct allegations. Ubisoft's chief people officer recently admitted the company mishandled complaints, causing a lack of trust. This person has said, quote, I think abuse and toxicity are contributing to factors, but not the deciding one for most, one current Ubisoft employee told Axiom. Women and people of color experience them as declining factors. Development at the company has also disappointed with its inclusion of NFT. French trade union Solitaire Informatique, I apologize for not saying correctly though, which represents Ubisoft employees in Paris, called the technology a useless, costly, ecological, mortifying tech. Ubisoft's manager told Axiom that despite the arbitration, if I'm saying the name, so I apologize, I'm not saying it correctly. The company has hired 2,600 new employees since April, saying that today is a few percentage point above where it typically is, says Grant, but it's still within the industry norm. So it seems as though not everyone is happy at Ubisoft, and unfortunately that company has been hit with criticism. Some of it has been justifiable, and I think this goes back to the whole argument about the whole workplace culture in the industry as a whole. It's something that does need to be better addressed, though. I think the fact that the whole situation with Activision Blizzard has blown up has really highlighted that problem, to be exact, and I'm hoping they can address that in the long run, though. I'm hoping that's the case, though, but then again, we've seen how Activision Blizzard has claimed to address this and going to address it, and yet we've seen little to no results to point to that. And well, I think excuse me, I'm sorry. And then so we'll see if the situation will turn around for Ubisoft or not, but it does seem to indicate that they, like Activision Blizzard, they have their own problems as well. So overall, I have to say, another company is being hit. The fact that we're seeing some resignations, though, isn't really surprising given what the current situation is, all that stuff. Whether that changes or not over time, that remains to be seen, though. Okay, we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one has to do with the situation surrounding the new upcoming Mass Effect or Mass Effect 4. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our third and final part of our My Two Cent video for this week. And for this one, I want to talk about Mass Effect, particularly Mass Effect 4 or the next Mass Effect, whatever EA and BioWare is going to call it, though. Now, when people think of the name Mass Effect or even Dragon Age, for that example, the name pop-up usually is BioWare and the people who worked on that series, though. But over the years, though, BioWare has sort of been in a pretty rough spot, though. I mean, a lot of the original creators or those who worked on the Mass Effect, the original trilogy, to the Dragon Age series sort of left over the years, though, and the company itself has released 2 of the games that didn't really exactly sit very well with a lot of folks. Mass Effect Andromeda didn't exactly sit well for a lot of folks out there. Some people didn't like the writing. Others pointed out how the game just looked terrible and bad and buggy and glitchy, and while I didn't experience any major bugs or glitches, though, I can see why not everyone was happy about that game, though, and I felt like that game could have spent a little bit more time in the oven, although I like the whole idea of exploring the Andromeda Galaxy and all. And Anthem, well, that had its own set of issues to begin with, ranging from how the game did not live up to what many people had been promised, though, to basically the whole issues of endgame content, the live service, the whole issue from Jason Schreier that emerged about the whole crunch issue and all that stuff. It was a bad situation with Anthem, to the point that there were plans to try to reboot the series, but EA decided to just drop it altogether, which is one of the reasons why that led to the upcoming next Dragon Age game being a full single player experience, though. So BioWare has had its shares of major criticisms and hasn't been in the best of spots, to be exact, though. And recently we are learning some information about the next Mass Effect game, and one of it seems to be that they are not going to be using the Frostbite engine, the engine that was used in Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, that was often used by basically, the Battlefield series, but it sounds like they are leaning more towards Unreal Engine 4 and possibly Unreal Engine 5. In an article posted on GameSpot, let me get it out, it reads that, quote, "It appears the next Mass Effect game will, as rumored, run on Epic's Unreal Engine. BioWare producer recently tweeted about the open position at the company for assistant technical director, and the ideal candidate will have experience with Unreal Engine 4 and 5. The statement says, quote, "Come join our team and work with us on the next Mass Effect games." This person wrote, "This does not flat out confirm that the new Mass Effect game will run on the same form of Unreal Engine. However, reporter Jeff Grubb, who was among the first to report that the next Mass Effect will use the Unreal Engine, followed up to say that this is indeed the case, and that it's Unreal Engine 5 specific, though." It's in September, Grubbs reported that BioWare was considering its option when it came to development engines for the next Mass Effect game, with Unreal being on the table. EA has its own game engine, Frostbite, but it now appears the game will run on Epic's engine. EA will pay Epic as a license fee for this. Frostbite was reportedly difficult to work with for Mass Effect Andromeda, so it's not a huge surprised to learn that BioWare is potentially shifting to Unreal Engine 5 for its next entry. In related news, the game within the Mass Effect Legendary Edition ran on Unreal Engine 3, and BioWare opted not to use Unreal Engine 4 for its re-release. One of the folks at BioWare explained that BioWare chose to stick with Unreal Engine 3 to preserve the feel of the original 3 games. So it seems as though, if this report is true, that they're going to stick with the Unreal Engine using either 4 or 5, which I can understand why. while it may have been sounded like a great idea for EA to use their own engine, the Frostbite engine to be exact, though, we've seen that engine seems to have some issues, and it seems to be best to work for games like the Battlefield series, which again even has its own issues as well. So probably forcing all the development team to use the Frostbite engine may not have been the best strategy out there, considering what the results we saw with Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem. So perhaps going with Unreal might be a better choice, considering the last three, considering that the original trilogy ran on the original or Unreal Engine 3 though. Now, does this mean that the game is going to be good or not? Remains to be seen, though. I mean, BioWare really is going to have to show that they've learned their lesson with Andromeda and Anthem and all. And then there's, of course, an issue of whether EA will interfere in any shape, in any form. And EA has a history of doing that, although lately, while I'm not saying EA is great or anything like that, they're not. They seem to be doing, shall we say, somewhat better than, say, like what Activision Blizzard is, and maybe a bit more than Ubisoft though, but that's not saying much, to be exact. That's not really saying much at all. So we'll have to wait and see whether this confirms to be true or not, though. I'm hoping it is, though, and I'm hoping that the next Mass Effect game turns out to be good. So overall, assuming this is true, it sounds like the next Mass Effect could run on Unreal Engine 5, maybe 4, but most likely 5 though, and I think that certainly is a good thing. As for which systems it will appear on, I would say I'm pointing towards Xbox Series S and X, PS5, and of course PC. I doubt there will be a Switch version, even though supposedly Unreal Engine 5 is certainly scalable and supposedly it could run on the Nintendo Switch, but given the fact that the only Mass Effect game we saw on the system was Mass Effect 3, and that was a half-ass port compared to the Mass Effect trilogy, though, I would say don't hold your breath for the next Mass Effect game to appear on the Nintendo Switch. I more likely is going to see expecting Xbox Series S and X, PC, and PS5, though. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cents for this week, and again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Metroid Dread reaching Time Magazine's #1 game of 2021? Do you think this is a big deal? Do you don't think this is a big deal? Are you glad the game is getting the attention it deserves? Do you think Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5 should have gotten the #1 spot? Are you happy where they are in the top 10 video games of 2021 by Time Magazine? What are your thoughts about this exodus that's happening at Ubisoft, though? Do you think this is bad for Ubisoft? Do you think Ubisoft will recover on this? Do you think this is just more problems the company is facing, very similar to what we're seeing with Activision Blizzard? And what are your thoughts about the Mass Effect trilogy, or the Mass Effect 4, or the next entry in the Mass Effect game, possibly running on Unreal Engine 5? Maybe 4, but most likely 5 though. Do you think this rumor is true? And if so, do you think it's the right call for the game to run on Unreal Engine 5 compared to BioWare's last 2 games, Anthem and Andromeda, running on the Frostbite engine in any way? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to. And feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me, or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day, and of course, happy holidays. Whether it's Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate, I wish you all a happy and safe holidays, and I hopefully you got the gifts that you wanted for the holidays though. Bye!